All right, folks. Thank you guys for watching my video on how to pay for college. For those who do not know me, my name is Mr. Wright. I am the college advisor at both Huntingdon and Southern Huntingdon High Schools. And I wanted to make this video to give you guys a video that you can watch when you want to learn some more about the financial aid process for college. And the idea is that you can watch it whenever you need it, not whenever it's on my schedule, but it's the video will be there for you whenever you feel that you want to learn some more about the financial aid process. So anyway, we're gonna get started. My goal here is to have this move along pretty quick for the amount of content that I'm showing, but all right, let's get started. So yeah, here's me. Here are some facts about me. I majored in history and German, and I was actually in Germany for a semester. It was really fun. I would love to talk about it if you ever want to know about my time abroad. It was really good. And I work for an organization called the Pennsylvania College Advising Corps. It's basically a group that places people like me around the state. There are 30-ish of us, and we all work to help high school juniors and seniors with the college process. All right, moving on. So there's a few terms here that I kind of want to cover that are really important. So the first is the sticker price of a college. This is the number before the reduction of financial aid. So that is the scary number. But that does not equal how much you'll pay. The net price is what you actually pay, and that comes after all of the financial aid options that we will cover in this video. And the goal here is to reduce the amount of loans that you need. That's really the ultimate goal of every college financial aid process, is to reduce the amount of loans that your family will need to take for sending your student to college. So here's an example that we can quickly go through. So this is for Franklin and Marshall College. So their sticker price is $73,000. That's a lot, and I will never argue that that is not a lot of money. However, what I will argue, or not argue, but what I will say is that no one really pays for that. If you look over to the right, there's a little chart there, and that shows you an average of family incomes and how much they're paying on average per year for the school. Even for families that make, even for the highest bracket of families, they're still only paying a little over half of that average annual cost. Well, now that's a lot, mind you, but when you look at the more medium income brackets, that's when you kind of see those numbers get down, and it's actually really affordable for students and families who may not have a ton of money, but it can be really affordable because of the financial aid. Now there's a tool called the net price calculator. I'm gonna skip through that. But basically, you can use it to kind of get an idea of how much your family will pay before actually getting back the info from the college. So now we're going to quickly cover the types of colleges in the state of PA and cover how the financial aid for them kind of pans out. So the first one are the PA state schools. Now these are schools like Shippensburg, Clarion, Lock Haven. There's 12 of them, I believe. So they have limited need-based and merit aid. And to quickly cover that, need-based, they look at what financial aid the student needs. And then merit aid looks at how strong of a candidate they are, and they can give out aid on they can decide how much they'll give out. So anyway, so for the PA state schools, the cost of attendance is usually lower. It starts on average lower, but they give out less aid, so that end price, the net price, that all important final price, it's usually somewhere in the middle, because they start off, the cost is lower, but they bring down the price a bit less. PA state related colleges and universities, we have Pitt, Temple, and Penn State here. So they're more expensive than the PA public universities like Shippensburg and the bunch, and they also give out less financial aid, but they are usually pretty good schools. This is tough because they can be more expensive. Their sticker prices are lower than the private schools, but they give out less aid. So sometimes they can be really hard on a family And it's something to keep in mind. But again, these schools are good. So it's kind of a tough battle there with the financial aid. Now the private colleges. Now this is like the one that I had shown previously, Franklin and Marshall. Same cost of attendance for in-state and out-of-state. So if you're a PA resident but you want to go to a private school in Maine or somewhere else, it'll cost the same for you as it would for a Maine resident. Now the sticker price, the starting price is really high. However, they give really good aid usually. Now that's really important to keep in mind because sometimes your instinct is to say this is a really expensive private college and we can't swing a huge fee for college. So we're going to look at some other schools. That can backfire sometimes because sometimes these schools can have the best financial aid for some families. So it's worth it to apply to different types of schools, but which I think we'll talk about more later. Okay, and these are the out-of-state public schools. These are what I do not recommend because they don't give out that much aid for starters, and your student also doesn't have the benefit of having the in-state tuition. So it can be really expensive, and they don't give out that much aid. This is what I really do not recommend. So here we go, moving along. So the cost of college is very different for everyone. This is just a fact that we have to live with. And there are a lot of factors here. The family income, huge part of it. Families with more money get less aid. That's just how it works. And some schools give out more money. Some schools give out less money. There's really a wide spectrum. The location factors in, as I was saying before. If you are trying to go to an out-of-state school, or if you're going to an out-of-state public school, that's going to be a factor. That'll make it more expensive because you're out of state. The grades are a factor. Schools are more willing to give merit scholarships to really strong students. And also, there are other factors that have to do with the status of the family, who you're living with. Are the parents separated? Are they together? That sort of thing. Okay, moving on. This is a big topic here, FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is kind of not the end-all, be-all of financial aid, but one of the most important things about paying for college. So this is an application you do for the government that determines how much they'll give you, or how much they'll give your student to go to school. I recommend doing it no matter what your family's income is, because there's a good shot that you'll still get something. For students who are not documented, you can talk to me for more advice. And importantly, so when you do this, basically you're telling the government about some of your financial history, and you use your 2019 tax return. So you'll need some of those forms with you so you can fill out the FAFSA. If you ever have any questions about this, because it can be a pretty daunting subject, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to talk or redirect you to some of the representatives from other institutions that can help you. Oops, here we go. So how colleges will calculate the aid given to you. So the FAFSA, that calculates your EFC, which is your estimated family contribution. So that's how much the FAFSA is saying you roughly should pay. And then the college sees the EFC from the FAFSA, and they calculate the need of your student. Now, importantly here, not all colleges, many colleges do not meet need. They try to get there, but they sometimes, often do not get there. So, in a previous slide, it said around 80 colleges in the U.S. Guarantee to meet need. The schools who do not have that guarantee, they oftentimes will not get to the need, meaning loans. So the colleges use the FAFSA to see how close they can get, and they'll create the award letter. And the award letter, which is not covered too much in this video, but it's it's a whole other topic, and it kind of goes over how the financial aid breaks down, and yeah, how much you will end up paying. Um, okay, and that's something that if you ever have any questions about it, I'm always available to help. I frequently will actually I will sit down with a student or family, and we'll kind of go over how much it's going to cost, what the loans are, that sort of thing. So the FAFSA opens each year on the 1st of October. And I really recommend each student or family does it by, I encourage during October or November, but at the latest, I really encourage before winter break. It stays, it stays open for longer. However, the longer you have not completed it, the less money the big pot of money that the FAFSA pulls from, the less money that will have, meaning it might be a little harder to get the aid. So doing it earlier gives you a better shot of getting aid. That's a really important thing to keep in mind here. Okay. Excuse me. So then there's also the PIA grant, the Pennsylvania State Grant. This is, I'm fairly certain you do it after, on the same website as the FAFSA. Importantly, you must have lived in PA for the past 12 months, and you must be going to a school in Pennsylvania or an approved out-of-state school. But this can be really helpful for college as well. It's another important kind of piece of the puzzle here. So I really recommend doing this as well. Here we have a financial aid timeline. So as we look in October, this is when we are hoping to do the FAFSA and the PA State Grant, the PIA Grant, as I said. In the spring, you'll kind of start hearing back from the colleges that you've been accepted to. May 1st, that's again the final deadline for PIA and FAFSA, but a lot of schools will have their own deadline. So this is why I really encourage, just get that done in advance. Get it done in the fall, because you do not want to be messing around with the FAFSA come the spring for a variety of reasons. May 1st, again, National Decision Day. This is when most schools require that your student pay their deposit, kind of saying, here, I'm coming to your school, and I'm coming to your school for the fall. This is when a lot of students have to apply, and that's when you finalize, okay, like this is the financial aid option that I'm going to pick. All right, a brief pause to the regular flow of the video. This is Mr. Wright from the future. I realized when I was editing the video that I didn't put in enough information about a few topics, so I wanted to go back in and cover a few things and throw it somewhere in the middle of the video. Anyway, so the first topic is the CSS profile. It's similar to the FAFSA in the sense that you provide family information, and it determines how much certain colleges will give as far as financial aid. However, it's really only required for certain selective schools. They do exist within the state of PA, but yeah, so it's like a second FAFSA that you really only have to do if you're applying to certain selective schools, and schools would be upfront about that in the admissions process. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Secondly is scholarships. So scholarships are always a big topic for families and their students as they move towards the college process. Most scholarships, outside of a few of the more selective scholarships, they happen usually in the fall or spring of the senior year. Both Southern Huntingdon and Huntingdon High School, their scholarship processes really begin in the spring. So most scholarships are available in the spring, some are available in the fall, and then the most selective ones are available during the junior year, such as the LenFest scholarship, which some students have signed up for. But yeah, so the thing about scholarship, and you can also search on the internet. So there are a few websites listed here. I think the one that I would recommend the most is Big Future. Although the online internet search scholarships have varying results, I'd still recommend them, but they're sometimes kind of difficult to find ones that fit. But anyway, and a lot of scholarships are small, so think of them as ways to get your textbooks or buy something for your dorm room. Or, well, actually, I don't think the dorm room thing would work because you have to spend it on school stuff. But regardless, so for textbooks, but some can be up to $1,000 or more. So just keep your eye out. Most of them are in the spring and can be found either online or in the school's guidance office. Okay. Lastly is loans. Loans is a very important topic. I briefly addressed it, saying you shouldn't, take too many loans out, but I wanted to give some more information on types of loans. So subsidized loans, these, what all it means is that the interest doesn't start accruing until the student leaves the school. So overall, they'll be less expensive for the family. They're the best kind of loans because they're just cheaper. There's less interest. Unsubsidized, you can probably guess, they start accruing interest from the start of the loan period. So that interest can really add up. So I would definitely, you want to get subsidized loans. Those, I believe, have to be offered to you through the FAFSA, I believe. And the last thing is the Parent Plus loans. These are loans that can kind of get on the more dangerous end of things because basically, even though you still have to apply for the loan, which gives the impression of, they would look at your financial history and say, okay, can they or can they not afford this? Even though you have to apply for it, they give them out very easily, which means that oftentimes, even if it's not a good idea for your family to take on this loan, you'll still get it. So just be wary of those. Yeah. And the last caveat that I'll throw on this is I'm not a financial advisor. So giving out this kind of advice can be kind of weird sometimes. But so I won't give specific financial advice, but my goal is really just to give you the information that you need about the loans to make the best informed choice for you and your family. And so that is the last slide that I have here. So we're going to resume back to the regular video after I pause this recording. I believe. All right, so here we are at our last slide. So these two final kind of things here. Do not make your choice for a school before you know what your financial aid offer is going to be, because you do not want to get into a situation where you say you're going to come to a school, you pay your deposit, and then you realize I just can't swing this because you hadn't seen the letter yet. Always wait for that financial aid letter and kind of know or have an idea of how much you're going to be paying and understand how much you're going to be paying. Understand the loans. I cannot emphasize this enough that you want to know how much the loans are going to be and not just say, oh, like that's a big number, but say this is exactly how much it is. How much will I be paying back per year? So that's one big takeaway. And the second takeaway is before even applying for college and before getting your financial aid letter back, you should have an idea of how much this is all going to cost, which is where some of those tools come in. There are more tools that I did not cover in this video. The one graph that kind of it broke down the family's income and how much the average family was paying for that bracket. That's collegescorecard.com. Collegescorecard.com. It's probably my favorite tool for that because again, it shows you here's the average family for the income bracket. Here's how much they're paying. Gives you a really good idea for how much the school's financial aid is. So yeah, I think that wraps up this. I don't have any more slides, I believe. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you need any help with this stuff, feel free to reach out over email, or you can also call me at 856-325-0900. So yeah, thank you. And again, the point of this video is for you to be able to watch it whenever you need it. So even though I'm posting this I believe in February, this info will still apply for the summer. It'll still apply for the spring, the fall. Yeah, so just watch it when you need to, and when you have questions, I will always be here for help. All right, thank you guys for watching.